Living in a different country or living abroad, it can be a great experience for some people and it can be a bad experience for some. So for us, it has been a good experience so far. As you all know, we've been in China for 4 years, and now we are living in the US. It has been a very good experience for us, and as we all know, like China and the US are two countries that like they are most powerful countries in the world. We learned about the culture, the people. We've learned a lot of things during all the past years. So, as you all know, we moved to the US. It has been like almost 1 year now. So we've been able to live, to see like how things happen here, how people live, and all of those we've been able to experience them. So in today's video, we are going to talk about the things that we have seen. We're not going to compare the life in China and life in the US. We are not going to do that. We're just going to share with you our experience, how is life going on, how life was in China, and how life is here. That's what we are going to talk about in today's video, okay? So, welcome to our YouTube channel. My name is Aline Lovi, and today I'm with my husband. He's gonna introduce himself.
Hey everybody, my name is Mike and I'm happy to be here with you. Thank you for having me today.
So guys, it has been really a long time I haven't posted. I'm so sorry about that. You know, we've been busy with life and everything. So without going back and forth, let's go into today's video. The first thing we are going to talk about is diversity, okay? So since we came in the US, we've noticed like a lot of culture, a lot of different colors. That was like the first thing that impressed me when I came into the US. I don't know about you.
As for me, I can say that the same thing you notice here in the US is the same thing that I personally noticed in China, because in both countries, you have a lot of foreigners from all over the world, and you have the opportunity to meet a lot of people from all over the world. I don't know if you really have that opportunity to meet those people in your country, and it has been a great experience, and I'm so thankful and grateful to God about that. So I can say for me, in both countries, you find people from all over the world.
Yeah, you find like all of like everybody in those countries, but in China, it's obviously like the Chinese population is more than the foreign population. While here in the US, like everybody is just mixed up, it's a little bit hard to tell if this person is from this country or this person is from this country. This is the thing that I've noticed for myself.
The second thing that we want to talk about is security. It's important, like everywhere you live or anywhere you live, it's important to live in a secure place. As far as China and the US are concerned in our topic today, the both countries are safe. I remember back in China, I was working in a nightclub. I used to finish around 3 or 4 a.m. I can come back home safely without any problem. People are very kind. The number one priority of the government in China is safety, and everything is safe in China. That was my experience. I don't know about other people's experience, but I really love the place. Talking about the US, I can say that the country is also safe, and it's not as safe as China, but it's also safe because here I used to work at night also, but I never encounter anything bad during our journey here. The only thing that bothers me is the fact that the government allow people to have weapons with them. So most of the time, or sometimes when you go to a shop, you can find someone shopping, but he has his weapon with him, and it's not kind of safe, because if you just do something bad to that person, he can even shoot you. just like that.
Yeah, me too. I think China is very safe. You can go out anytime you want and come back. But here, anytime like you go out, you see somebody walking on the road, you just be afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the fact. This is the truth. Like it's there. Yeah, there's nothing we can do about that, but we just pray that God protect us as long as we are here. Next point we are going to talk about is the cost of living in the US and in China. So what I noticed in China is that I was a student. We were students and we didn't have any bills to pay most of the time. So we only like for myself, I'll talk for myself. I was only paying for my food and my clothing and other little expenses. I didn't have to pay about bills. I didn't have to pay housing because the school provided that. So life in China was really affordable. The living like cost of living in China is affordable compared to here where we had to start life like start working as independent people, so we have to go to work, pay bills and pay everything that comes with, yeah, you know. So I would say for me China was like the cheapest, or the living cost was really low. That's what I would say.
For me, I don't really like comparing the cost of living in China and here in the US because there's a big difference in the way we are living. You know, back in China we were students, but here we are like independent, like she just said. So there's a big difference between the two mode or the two kind of lives. Okay, if I can just take things in general, I can say that life in China was more affordable because things are cheaper in China than here in the US, and we can also say about like housing. You know, the price of the house or the apartment that we are renting now is like it's the same dimensions and same things with what we maybe some people got in China, but the price is like tripled, three times three times what we paid in China. So there's a very big difference about the cost of living, but you know, it's dollars here and it's yuan over there, so there must be a difference. So it's normal. Yeah. One of the other aspects that we have noticed is the authenticity of the two countries, because most of the time we used to say that development is about this and that, buildings, roads, this and that, you know, the stuff. But what we have noticed in China and here in the US is that they have all of the things that we qualify as development, but they have kept aside of what is China. And here in the US, they have also kept aside of what is America. You can notice that with the constructions. You know, in China, you can go to Beijing, you can go to Shanghai, Guangzhou. You find huge buildings, but there will be a side of the city where you will find ancient China, like the authentic China. What is the real China? And I really like that part. I really like that part, and I have noticed that about. I have noticed that also here in America. You know, for us Africans, we think that America is like buildings everywhere. You know, they got this and that, so it's heaven, like she just said. But you find that in America, people are really authentic. They kept or they keep on having things of the 90s, of the 80s with them. Can you imagine that there are some places in America? There's a bank like that we went last time, in which they are playing radio. You know, the radio cassette. Yeah, those, you know, even in Africa there are some places we don't have it anymore, but they still have it. In America here, there are places that people are still using CD, and there are big shops for CDs. For people who wanna play those music of the previous years, they still have those kind of shops, and we're like, wow, the construction in America is nothing about what we call development. Is nothing about that, and I really like that part. I really love it.
So what I would add for that is for the forest part. As in Africa, we like cutting trees, we are killing our forests, we are killing our animals. But when you come here, you find like everything is there. They're not touching it. It's natural, you know. You can see like a bunch of trees in the city, in downtown, you know. But as we think like that is village, while it's not the case, you know. So yeah, we shouldn't try to copy without like really seeing the real thing. So we should always try to look both sides, like what is happening, before we just copy blindly. It's not a good thing. That's what I would say. Another aspect that we're gonna touch is the opportunities of succeeding. As we all know, like we go abroad to look for opportunities to succeed. And as far as we are concerned, we've been in both countries. We went to China, we're a student, and as a foreigner in China, it's really hard for you to get a job and succeed in the career or in something. I know there are some people who got the chances, but the percentage is really small compared to the foreign people who come in the US and try to build a life for themselves, which if you really give yourself to work, if you go to school, if you work hard, you're gonna succeed in life. And I would say that here the opportunities to succeed are greater for a foreigner person compared to China.
I also want to add something which is not important. I can say it like that. But when you're in China, for example, if you get married to a Chinese, you cannot get the citizenship.
Yeah.
If you give birth in China, even though you are married with a Chinese, or you are married with an African or someone from another country, your child cannot have a Chinese citizenship. They really emphasize on the natural Chinese. Even the Chinese which are born abroad cannot be real Chinese. They don't have the citizenship. So there are some things like that which are not, I can say, good for foreigners. You know, it's like you're just doing things there, but it's better for you to go do it in your country, because you don't have any
like a visitor.
yeah, you don't have any I'd say advantage, if I can put it like that.
Yeah.
But we can also say that there are some people who have succeeded in China.
Yeah.
And there are some fields or domain in China that you can grow easily, as in business. You can do business. There are big or very great businessmen in cities like Guangzhou, Yiwu. So that's one of the good part of China.
Yeah.
Doing business, doing e-commerce, and so it's up to you to see which of the field in China you can grab, so that you can maybe succeed in China.
Yeah.
It's a very great country, and we are even planning one day to go back and live there. Why not? We never know.
The last, I think the last aspect we're gonna touch today is the conflict between the two countries. Yeah. So I think personally, I would say that both countries are friends. They can't live without each other. But what they try to show to the world is a different image, or a different picture that they show to the world, like they're enemies or they're in conflict. But deep down, they depend on each other. That's what I have noticed.
Yeah, we were surprised when we arrived here. We thought that, as Africans, we used to complain, made in China, made in China. Chinese things are not good,
Yeah.
As if there was another alternative that we can take, as if there was another place from where we can buy things which are in good quality. But when we arrived here, we were shocked to notice that more than 60% of the things that we have here in the US come from China. They are made in China. It's written made in China.
Yeah.
But people still buy it. It's like America cannot live without China. Everything which we have here comes from China. So I think there's a conflict between the two countries politically, but economically they depend on each other, and I think that's a great way to live. You are enemies, but sometimes you have to recognize that I cannot live without this part, and me too, him too cannot live without me, because America buys a lot from China, which means that America gives a lot of money to China, which means that the Chinese economy depends a lot on America.
Yeah.
Can you notice that? So the two countries are very close. They are in very good relationship concerning economy, and I also think that Chinese companies or Chinese people used to buy a lot of stuff from America also, because there are a lot of manufacturer or producers or suppliers from America also. So I think it's a very complicated relationship. That's why you can see them arguing all the time, but never cutting off the relation or never cutting off the economic part, because they depend on each other.
Yeah, and something I want to add is that the US, they design a lot of the things, but I think they don't have the raw materials to make those things. So what they do is that they design the stuff and they send those designs to other countries to make them for them, and then buy it then again. That is what I have noticed. Yeah, and I think that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and stay safe, take care of your loved ones, and we love you so much. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.